Hello, and welcome back to the continuation of our Animal Crossing series that we've been doing. If you're new here, I started a series a little while back where we do Animal Crossing villager inspired builds in The Sims 4. And I've kind of been doing it to where I'll pick one and then I put up a poll for everyone to vote on to do next. And usually that's because you all leave comments on villagers that you'd like to see me do. And this one today is for Barold. And Barold was definitely a community voted one because that is not one that I was necessarily looking forward to. But I have to say, I was really excited with how this house turned out. And if you're not familiar with Barold, I always like to go through their little Wikipedia pages. Barold is a bear cub, lazy, male, birthday is March 2nd. And the one thing that obviously stands out about him is his shirt with the tiger stripes on it. Now, usually I'll go to Animal Crossing New Horizons what their home looks like on the inside, or like some of the objects that they have in their home here. Like he has wall mounted phones, surveillance, he has a portable radio, laptop. He's like a programmer. He's very much into like the techie stuff, so to speak. And sometimes I'll let the actual house like influence what I build in the game, but I wasn't really feeling this. I wasn't feeling this at all. So I went more so off of the look of Barold. But one fun thing too were all of the security monitors that were on the wall. Just keep that in mind because you're gonna see something that might look a little weird. That's why. That's why. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. With this, I wanted something that was a little bit more modern. I don't know why, but I got the like bachelor type vibe from Barold. I don't know. He looks like he just kind of goes through life like he's coasting. He kind of has his own hobbies with like being a computer techie guy, IT guy maybe. But we were playing around with this on Twitch because I do stream building these on Twitch. And we were just feeling like a bachelor pad vibe with Barold. So that's what we go with, especially whenever you have a bold tiger print. I definitely use some of the tiger print stuff that we have in The Sims because I'd never really used that stuff. So it was fun to get to use that in a build that was, Animal Crossing inspired and a little bit like different. I like being inspired by things that make me build and use objects and things that I normally wouldn't do. So it's really fun to think through that. And I wanted to like play around with the shape of the house because it was just a box. I wanted something that was a little bit more interesting. So I added some platforms on top of the modern home because I don't know, whenever I see modern homes, they do some cool kind of architectural features with the roofs of them. So I added this rounded platform and then I actually layer a second rounded platform behind it that goes up a little bit higher. And I just thought that that lent some interest to the home. Again, it was just a box, so I wanted to do something that made it look at least somewhat interesting from like a curb appeal standpoint. So mixing some boxes and some circular shapes just seemed to do that for me. And then I do use some of the My Fitness stuff pack, which I don't use hardly ever, and it worked really well for this build too. So the name of the game with this build basically was using stuff that I don't typically use in a different way that was kind of fun and fresh. And I think that's why I really like doing these types of challenges where you do builds based off of characters. So if y'all have any ideas, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. If you're new here, usually with these speed build videos, I just yap about anything and everything that's going on. So I'm going to give y'all a life update and that right now I am streaming every day. It's Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. It is June. We are doing our Trevor Project fundraiser. Last year, I kicked us off with this for the first time, and I streamed every day trying to raise money for the Trevor Project. And if you are not familiar with the Trevor Project, they provide a lot of LGBTQ plus youth with suicide prevention and crisis intervention services. And it's like something that can be a little bit touchy. I'm sorry if that's like a trigger for anyone, but it is a really important subject matter to me personally. And I especially think with the scape that we're in right now, that those services are needed now more than ever. And I am raising money for the Trevor Project. We were a top fundraiser last year. I'm really hoping that we can hold on to that. It was really cool to see what a small community did over on Twitch for that, as well as here on YouTube. I did post the link down below if you would like to donate to that. Don't feel obligated if you can't. I totally get it. I really do with the way that stuff is right now. Everything's so expensive. So if you just can't donate, if you want to share the link with anyone, and friends, family, group chats, any Discord servers where you have permission to do it. If you have permission to do it, ask before you do it. But I would greatly appreciate it just getting the word out. And if you want to head over to Twitch and hang out with us there, that helps the streams as well with getting exposure. So getting back into the build, I'll go back and forth with some updates for y'all. I am getting into the kitchen here. I went way into the tiger print theme. I was having a lot of fun with it. It looks like a lot right now, but the cabinetry and stuff will cover up a lot of the wall, so it's not going to be as overwhelming as it looks right now. And then you might have noticed right now with the bedroom, I put the tiles and I alternated them. If you remember the picture from Barold's house in Animal Crossing, there's this checkered flooring, and I wanted to put that in the house. I will go ahead and say I don't leave it in the bedroom. I actually put it more out in the living area that's open, because in this middle section by the weird windowed wall that I have, that is his office space. So that's where I end up putting it. So it's just like a little nod to his carpet in the game. I try to like pull some themes out whenever I'm doing these types of builds, and this one was definitely out of my comfort zone. So I go back and forth a few times on like making some big decisions. Obviously, whenever we think of like a bachelor pad, the Casanova Caves kit came to mind. Obviously, Don Lothario, right? So trying to have something that's a little bit more modern and it just fit the aesthetic and the style that I was going for in the house. I wanted to play on that. I know that Barold is a bear. And so it's kind of funny because I'm like doing a lot more stuff that's like tiger themed, just because it's like his t-shirt. His t-shirt is tiger striped. So I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I feel like it works pretty well. I don't think we have a lot of bear stuff. I know we have like a bear chair, but that was just not the vibe. That's like a kid chair that you would put. And I couldn't think of any other types of like bear printed things. I do end up putting the bear rug in his bedroom, which might be a little weird because it's like a dead bear, essentially. And I don't think another bear would necessarily have that. So I don't know. I did some kind of interesting choices with this, but again, it was like doing something that I don't usually do, and I had a lot of fun with that type of challenge. Now, I know you're thinking, Matthew, why are you like painting the walls behind those windows because you don't see them? It's just my brain, okay? Whether you can see it or not, I do the same thing around staircases. So you know how the staircase sometimes, depending on how you have it or if you have walls around it, it covers up the back panel. I still have to paint it. Do you see it in the game? No, not at all. But if you were to move the staircase, you would see that it's not painted, and that bothers me enough. So I have to do it. So I have like little quirks about that whenever I build, which seems really ridiculous, but it's just how my brain operates, and I just can't let that go. I can't let stuff like that go. It feels incomplete to not have them painted. I'm just like going through putting a lot of the base furniture down. I always do like all of the big pieces of furniture to figure out more the idea of the layout of the space that I want, and then we go back in and clutter. Now with this one, I will say I didn't clutter as much as I usually do, but that's because like with more modern homes, I don't associate maximalism with modern. And I know that's not necessarily true. Like there are people who have modern homes that definitely are maximalists and have a lot of stuff in them, but I do picture modern homes being a little less cluttered and feeling more open. So I was trying to go for that, especially with this one. It's already quirky enough because we have this like kind of tech space that's in the middle of our living area. Like you come in and it's just wide open to that. I went back and forth on it being a closed space, but I really like the aspect of it, and it showcases his personality. That way, right when you come through the front door, you kind of know what you're getting and what you're getting into. Now, getting into this bedroom space, it's a lot of dark colors, but I promise it does brighten up a little bit. We have that tiger print on the wall, so you know, that with the tiger bed is plenty, I think, for this room. And I do end up doing something kind of cool with the headboard, where I find this piece of art that we have. It's very clunky, but I end up like stacking it on top of one another on that wall to have like a really big like draw to it, kind of like a fireplace would on a wall, but it's with your bed. So you'll understand what I mean by that in just a second. But I layered those two rugs under his bed because again, that print with the orange was a lot on top, or like underneath rather, the bed. And so I cut it with putting the bear rug. It's the best I could do with the bear. I know we have like a bear statue as well, but now we're putting all of these TVs. If you're wondering at the end of this why this build is so expensive, it is because of those TVs. Thousands and thousands of dollars is added into this build because of those CCTVs. We were pretending they were CCTVs. He has a camera inside, and I still need to do it because I haven't done it yet, but I need to add a camera to the outside on the back just for fun, because that's just more surveillance stuff for him. And I wanted to like tech it up a little bit more. So now we're like starting to get into the clutter phase. And while we watch that, I do want to say that I have some exciting updates, and hopefully some good news will come of it. But I have been out of a job pretty much since February of last year, so well over a year now. And I've been doing some contract work here and there, which has been what's keeping me afloat. I've done DoorDash delivery, I've done Instacart delivery, and it has gotten so bad lately that I am like desperately in need of a job. If I don't have one by the end of this month, I don't know what I'm going to do. I genuinely do not know what I'm going to do. But I had a final round interview with the CEO of a company just this past Friday, and I'm supposed to hear back as early as the end of this week. If not, then next week. And I'm so excited. I really, really want this job. I'm like so excited for this job. I think I would be really, really good at it. And I'm just like hoping. So if you all could send me some good vibes, I would greatly appreciate it. This is not my job. I know we've had a little bit of a growth spurt over the past week because of my Paralyzed content. So welcome in everyone who's new if you're watching this. I don't do this for a living. It's like fun for me. I would love to make it a job in the future, but by all means, do not make much money at all from doing this. So I do make a little bit. I've made three figures over the past 2 years of being on YouTube. That's about it. And I'll go ahead and say I've made $200 from YouTube over the past 2 years. I do not make a lot of money from YouTube. I love doing it, and I hope you all enjoy watching the content. If you have some ideas, speaking of Paralives, I am planning on mixing that in now with my content if you don't realize it already, because up until Paralives, I have been solely Sims 4 content. But I do think that Paralives has a lot of capabilities that we just don't get in The Sims that would be fun to do some other types of challenges in. So I'd like to come up with some new challenges just for Paralives because I think we're in a unique position where we can do some really custom stuff in that game. Everything's customizable. Everything, literally everything, colors, sizing, like you can shape buildings literally into anything with the curved walls. Like the capabilities already in early access are pretty cool. So I'm excited to do some stuff like that. So I will be doing both. I'm not choosing one over the other. I don't think that, they both scratch a different itch. So I like Paralyzed for different reasons than I like Sims. Obviously, Sims has a lot of nostalgia to it too, which, that's going to be really hard to beat out, even if you were thinking of it from a competition standpoint. I would love to see Paralyzed thrive just so Sims has some competition that makes them want to do better by their players. And I think that that is very much needed. So, anyone playing Paralyzed right now, just want to say, just be patient. Be patient with it. It's early access. They have a lot of plans that are really exciting for the future of this game. Please do not crush it. Don't immediately crush this game. It's an indie game. I would love to see what they do with it. They're already providing so many functionalities, at least from building aspect. I know the gameplay is very lacking right now. It's an early game. Sims has been around for like 26 years, 25 years, 26 years. They built off of each iteration there. And then Sims 4 has been around for over 12 years or around 12 years, somewhere around in there. So they're competing with a very, very well established franchise that has a big developer behind them. So I would just say, please give them a chance. Give them a couple of years. Let's see where it goes. That's all I want to say. Because it's okay to not like a game. I'm not trying to convince you to like a game if you don't like it. I want there to be like a fair shot for another game because again, I'm gonna still play Sims. I'm gonna play Paralives. I'm gonna enjoy both for different reasons. So I don't want them to copy The Sims. I think that defeats the purpose. I think some people want them to be making it just like The Sims to replace it. I just want it to be another game that I can play for different reasons. And I definitely don't mean for that to come across the wrong way to anyone. I'm enjoying both of them, so I'm just letting you all know that I will probably be putting content from both of them on this channel moving forward. I don't know how I want to balance that just yet. I already don't like publish a ton of videos each week. Again, I don't have the time to do that, especially since I'm streaming on Twitch as well. So I just want y'all to vibe with me. If y'all are okay with just relaxing with me, hanging out with me when I upload videos, that's what I love about YouTube. And I think it's really fun to just get to hang out and do something together. Y'all get to see the process of something that I do, or, some of the challenges I do, you get to see that. And I think it's beautiful. We have a really nice community here, and I want to keep it that way. And, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. So I just felt like saying that. And I don't mean to be weird about it. I hope that doesn't come across the wrong way. But just wanted to put that out there because, again, we have had a growth spurt pretty recently on the channel. And so it's exciting, but also it's just like I want to like set expectations, I guess, and I don't want people to like get upset. Everyone's going to get upset over something, or like everyone could get upset at something. I can't please everybody, but I just wanted to put that out there. So this is the artwork, getting back into the build and off that tangent, that I ended up putting for the bed. And I think it turned out really cool because there's enough of an overhang where it's kind of like shelves. So I all placed some fun decor on there with some like plants. I think I add some books. I have the llama. And then we have Phil. So if you're new here too, Phil is our resident favorite plant. I ended up putting a little poof by the mirror space over here. I put like the basketball stuff with the jerseys again, just kind of going with like that bachelor pad kind of stereotypical vibe with that. And then I'm going to the outside now. I'm adding the back porch, and I ended up like doing some camping vibes as well outside. That's why you see the random sleeping bag. That was something I got an idea of while I was doing the interior. And just thinking about him being a bear, I don't know, like wildlife, I was thinking of something along those lines and wanted to put some camping stuff. So I do end up putting that outside. And then with the landscaping, we are building in Strangerville. So it's like I wanted it to be desert scape, but I didn't want it to be full on since the lot is green. Like you still have some greenery and some grass. I didn't want it to be like full on landscaping. I feel like luscious landscaping would be kind of weird in this world. So I ended up just focusing primarily on cactus plants. And I put this like built-in bed, which I usually don't do. And I typically put like free landscaping, like I freehand it. I don't usually build like little flower beds or like boxes for plants like this. But again, with the modern home, I feel like it makes more sense to stylize it a little bit more that way and keep it a little simpler, more minimalistic looking. Not to say I don't use a lot of plants. I use a lot of plants. I I will never not use a lot of plants. That's just how I am. I love using plants. They're like my favorite clutter item in this game. I love putting them everywhere as much as possible. If you have an empty shelf anywhere, there's going to be a plant on it somewhere. That's just how I am. But I wanted to like fill this in a little bit more on the front. It looks kind of weird, and the plants would have to be really tiny to fit in easily. So I just thought I'd expand that out. Now I'm just filling that in with some cactus plants. I did add a fountain to the back just to do something a little more interesting. I wanted there to be some type of like an oasis type vibe outside in this world. I think it's needed. Like I'd love to have a water fountain of some sort in a desert, like around my house. I think it'd be pretty not only to listen to, but just to have as a feature. And then I do end up eventually adding a pool in the back as well, just for a fun little swimming activity. But I will say it took me a second to like figure out how I wanted to place the plants. I got out of the habit in the back from putting them in a straight line because literally everywhere they're kind of like more uniform looking, and I wanted to do something a little bit different in the back. So I ended up doing that instead. But also, I'm curious to know like what ideas you have for other villagers. So like I mentioned earlier, this is a fun challenge that I came up with not that long ago. It was literally a couple of months ago. We've done Tia, we've done Meringue, we've done Barold. I feel like I'm missing one. I feel like I might be missing one. I can't remember though. But I'm thinking since it's Pride Month, I kind of want to do Pietro for the one that I select. So I think we're going to be doing Pietro at some point on Twitch this month because Pietro's so colorful and it just makes sense for Pride Month to do Pietro. So I have no idea what type of build I'd want to do for that. I kind of also want to try to do Pietro both in Paralives and Sims and see what we come up with. Not to replicate it. I've seen some videos where creators are like trying to recreate their home in one versus the other, which is really cool, but that's not what I mean. I think it'd be fun to just do a completely different home in one versus the other because Paralives has this really crazy circus, like clown themed furniture. Like there's a clown door and it squeaks whenever you walk through it. Like when it opens, you hear the horn sound like with the nose, and then the fridge like will stick its tongue out and stuff. It's kind of wild. I love that they added some like whimsy stuff to that game because that's what I love about The Sims. And that with simulation games, I don't like hyper realistic simulation games. I like some whimsy in with mine. That's just how I am. But I think it'd be cool to do Pietro in both games just to see like what we can come up with in each, especially since Paralives you can customize the color of pretty much anything. So it'd be really cool to do like a super over the top, colorful build in such a funky way where you can control every aspect like that. But let me know. Let me know what you're interested in. And also just let me know some villagers that you'd love to see me build. I will primarily be keeping that for The Sims 4. Like that's where I started it. But I do just think it's funny since we have the clown stuff in Paralives that I could try to do something with Pietro for that. So I think I'm like about to wrap up the landscaping outside, and then I'm like going to try to turn this backyard more into an entertainment space of some sort. So I do have a bar that I have, and then I add a grill as well. We have some seating. I put some loungers in. So there's the bar. And the fun thing is that because of what I did on the inside with the bed, I do the same thing and take that piece of art and put it over the bar space, and it looks really cool, like a custom built-in bar. And I love that aspect of that. I'm probably going to use that hack more in the future just for like a new headboard. And that's because a lot of the headboards in game are so thin up against the wall that you could probably clip it over any headboard you want if you wanted to do like a super modern looking headboard or make a bed look a particular style. So with the pull, again, with the tiger print, I had to do it. This is the build. If I'm going to add tiger print, that I have to do it too. So I love that we have so much tiger print. Now I'm like trying to get some nice little details on. We have the pull trim and the fountain trim. And then this is the headboard piece that I was talking about. I'm calling it a headboard now, and it's not a headboard at all, but that's how I used it. So I ended up putting like some bottles on top of it too, whenever we get more into the clutter phase for the outside. I wrap this around. Now, the one thing that does annoy me with The Sims that I don't think they're ever going to fix is how when you put a fence or something, it doesn't go to the edge of the lot. Now, one thing from when I've played Paralives that is really nice is that you also have like some fun shaped lots that you can do as well. In The Sims, all of our lots are rectangular. All of them. It's like a rectangle or a square. So it's kind of cool in Paralives that you have lots that are asymmetrical, like all sorts of shapes, because it's very realistic. So not to turn this whole video, I'm really sorry, I'm talking about Paralives, but it's just really interesting to like have another game that I'm excited about personally that could potentially rival The Sims, because I am primarily a builder and I think that's always how it's going to be, but I would like to do some gameplay in the future too. And I do have currently on my YouTube channel that when we hit 10,000 subs, I might start some legacy content of some sort, or maybe do like Not So Berry or something like that. It's like a rite of passage that I have to do Not So Berry at some point. So it would be really fun to get into some gameplay. I think for me, I grew up playing Sims, like Sims 1 through 3, like crazy. Sims 2 is my favorite. Sims 3 as a kid overwhelmed me with all of the customization. So I get that if like Paralives is maybe too much customization. I know it can feel overwhelming from that standpoint as well. But I just started playing Sims 4 a couple of years ago, and like consistently anyways. I started it back in 2020 during the pandemic, but I only played it for like a couple of weeks and then put it down and picked it up a couple of years ago. So it's been fun to get into the building aspect so much, but the gameplay, whenever I have tried, just feels so overwhelming with all of the notifications and things that are happening. And I think with all of the DLC, it's just made it feel like so much you have to keep up with, and that there are so many options for so many things. And maybe that's a good problem, that you have so much that you can do with the gameplay. But I will say that it makes it more difficult to want to get into it. And that's just something I gotta kind of do. And I'm really excited to do that and make some content with that in the future. But we'll see how it goes. Like, obviously, we're nowhere near 10K. But at that point, if that's something that you would like to see, I would obviously like the input. I'm not just going to do it for the sake of doing it, but I would like to feel out like what you all would like to see. And then we do have the Riviera Retreat stuff I put outside. At first, I had it all black, and I didn't realize that this swatch that I changed it to was more of an orangey swatch. It looked yellow to me, but then there's like another swatch that's actually yellow. And I was like, you know what? It is orange. I'll just put it out there just so everything's not black. So that was the idea with that. And now I put the bear gnome too, which I thought was really cute to put on the front porch, obviously, because Barold's a bear. So now I'm just like doing some landscape lighting. So let's just go ahead and get into the game. I'll show you what the build looks like. So this is the house from the outside. I think it turned out pretty cool. I like it. I think it's a pretty neat looking house, if I do say so myself. I really like this like fake chimney fireplace thing that I put in over here. I like the built-in look around this with the trim and the columns on the side with the accent there. Now, one thing that's a little annoying is with the rounded platforms, obviously, with how they connect, it's like, it's like a little bit of a blemish, but oh well, you kind of have to overlook it. So we're greeted by our bear gnome here, and we do have our camera up front right here as well. So once we come into the entrance, we have our little foyer space. Put your stuff down as you come in, take off your shoes, and then you turn around here, and then it's like, whoa. what's happening in here? What's going on? So here's our dining space, which I think is really cool. I like to take these light fixtures and size them down differently to where it looks like more of a custom light fixture. And then over on this side is our little tech space. Love that for his office. And we do have the specs kind of around the house because he does wear glasses. So his little workspace with the servers. Have your awesome living room with a huge, huge screen. I mean, I'd love to watch movies in here. And then kitchen on the other side of that. Love this so, so much. And honestly, for me, this is a very uncluttered kitchen. It was a bit hard to do that, but I was trying to stick with the modern vibes as much as I could. And then our bathroom is off of this. Kind of cool. Got some spa day vibes in here a little bit. Custom shower, all the tiger print everywhere. And it does connect to our master bedroom. So what this space looks like. And then you have your TV wall. Could you imagine having this in your bedroom? Like, I just think that would be absolutely crazy. But I really like how this like custom headboard turned out. I think that's pretty cool. And then you come back around to the kitchen to, whoops, get to the outside. We kind of cut through some walls, but that's fine. Have our grill, our bar. I did put another camera over the door here. So our surveillance is there. I didn't want to put a fence because it's like so open back here. You're on your own. It's private and you have a hedgerow anyway around the lot. Plus there's a fence on the side because that happens in The Sims all the time where they put fences outside your lot and then it looks silly with a fence inside of a fence. But just a cool little outdoor space, I think. Have the fountain. You can sit by, eat, listen to the water, go swimming. I did put the like little tiger floater because I thought that was really cute. And we have our camping space over on that side. I'm trying to think if there were any other little references. It's kind of hard to remember everything, but there are like so many items I put in the build intentionally. Like here are the wall phones. I had a couple of those. One's in the kitchen because that's what's in his build. The magazines, I made it the techie swatch because that matched his aesthetic as well. So I like try to get really into the details with stuff like that on what I do and try to be really intentional with it. But that's the build, y'all. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's really small. So I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to put it on the gallery. So again, even though it's small, it is pretty expensive. It's 131,000 simoleons. And it's just because of all those freaking TVs. But this is the build. It's on the gallery as Barold's bachelor pad. And while I'm in the gallery, I did want to let you all know that I have a shell challenge going on. I'm going to try to get the speed build video for that put up as quickly as I can. I still need to finish the build itself, but wanted to go ahead and let you all know that we will be touring shells on June 30th over on Twitch. If you want to join the shell challenge, would love to have you in that, but it is up on the gallery as TP Mia shell challenge, and it's because there was a part of it that looked like Mia. This little part here kind of looks like a Schnauzer or a Scotty even, if you wanted to. So I think that's a cute little shape there, and TP is for Trevor Project because of the fundraiser. So the instructions are over here. If you want to check it out, it's on the gallery. Would love to have you participate in that. And if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I have a blast with this. And with streaming every day, I will probably be posting a lot more speed builds than I usually do, just because that's like a little bit easier for me to do than some of the live build videos. Those take up a lot of my time to do. So just for this month, I might have to rely a little bit more on speed build videos. Unless you all want me to like do some edited VODs, I could possibly do that. But just wanted to let you all know that. Thank you so much to my channel members. I appreciate your monthly support. It means a lot to me. And if you want to check out the build that we did for Tia, I'll put that over here for you. Chai was the other villager I couldn't think of, which is wild because Chai is my favorite villager. And I can't believe that I forgot that. That was the first one we did. So we've done Chai, Meringue, Tia, and now Barold. Maybe I did say Chai. I don't remember. And on that note, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye. Y'all, I have so much going on right now. My mind is literally all over the place. I hope y'all have a great rest of your week.